All right, y'all, before we start today's video, I just want to say thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. I know most of you guys are from TikTok, and I appreciate you guys following me over to this platform. You know what I mean? I have a lot less trolls on here, which is nice because I don't have to really worry about it. Like, trolling people on TikTok is real easy because video comes up. You can say whatever you want anonymously. No big deal. But for somebody to jump to a completely different platform to watch a YouTube video and troll you, like, they're not going to waste their time doing that. So you guys, I just want to say thank you for being here and thank you for being cool. You know what I mean? I really do appreciate it. But today we're going to talk about prison basketball. I know I talk about it all the time, but every time I talk about it, it seems like you guys have more questions. So I'm going to really break it down in the easiest way so you guys understand the full scope of how prison basketball really is. So in Pennsylvania prisons, you can play basketball one of two places, either in the yard or in the gym. And the games really depend on how they go based on where they're played, if we're being honest. So the first section of this video is going to be completely about how basketball in the yard works, okay? So there's 2 basketball courts in most Pennsylvania prisons. You normally have 2 sides of the jail, and each side will have 2 basketball courts, but they'll have 6 hoops. So you'll have 2 full courts and then 1 hoop at each end. To give you a better understanding of how the yard looks, I'm going to show you guys Google Earth of one of the prisons that I was in.
Okay, guys, so if we scroll in here, this black line right here is a fence. So this is one side of the yard. This is another side of the yard. You can see they took out the 2 hoops at the end that I was talking about. This right here is a handball wall, and as is this. And there's basketball hoops over here. This is the north side. This is the south side. If you scroll out, you see they have a football field, full track, softball field on each side. The yard is just flipped because obviously it's on the other end. So now if you come down, like I said, you see there's bleachers here, and you have 2 full courts, which are technically like half courts.
So they'll call yard one block at a time. So when the blocks come out to yard, we'll all go over to the basketball court. And most of the time, if you're not out first, they'll already have a game running. The way you pick who the first game is whoever grabs the ball and whoever's next at the court. So if I go and grab the ball, I got first automatically because I have the ball. So a lot of times people that aren't that great at basketball will try to run out and get the ball first to ensure that they'll get to play during the yard. Basically from there, it goes by based off of who rolls up to the court next. So if there's 20 of us and, you know, these 10 are playing, whoever was at the court next has next, and then they pick their 5. You pretty much know who's after who for the entirety of the yard. So say, for instance, you come out to the yard and you don't automatically go over to the basketball court. Say you roll over 20 minutes later. You come over and you're like, yo, who has next? They'll tell you who has next. Be like, yo, do you have 5? Oh, yeah, I got 5. Okay, who's got after you? Oh, you do. Do you have 5? Oh, no, you only got 3? Okay, let me run with you. And now you know, okay, when this game's over, they got the next one. And then after them, it's my turn to play. You know what I mean? And that's just basically how it goes. Now, in Pennsylvania prisons, they have what they call halftime during yard. So halfway through the yard, they'll call halftime, and you can either go back into the block, or people that didn't come out for the first half of the yard can then come to the yard. So every game before halftime is run to 16. It's 16 by 1s and 2s. That's it. After halftime, all the games go to 12 because you only have like 45 minutes left a yard. So they want to keep the games going, so they make it a little less total that you need. They do play shutout rules. So if you get on the court and your team goes up 7-0 to start, you're off the court. Doesn't matter if you're playing to 12. Doesn't matter if you're playing to 16. If you start up 7-0 on any team, they're off the court. And if you were gambling on the game, it would also be double because shutout is always double in Pennsylvania prison. Now, the rules are also a little bit different than it would be in a sanctioned basketball game. For instance, there's no such thing as a charge when you're in the yard. There's no such thing as an offensive foul. You're just not calling those things because you're never going to get the ball. Sometimes you'll make a call and people will be like, no, you're not getting it. Even though you called foul, they're like, no, bro, that's not a foul. You're not getting it. And you can't really do anything about it because they're going to continue the game. Now, if there's a dispute over a call, then what you'll do is be like, okay, shoot for it. Whoever made the call has to shoot for it. If they make it, they get the ball. If they miss, the other team gets the ball. You will never see somebody shooting a free throw in the yard off a foul. It doesn't happen. If you call foul, you get the ball. That's what it is. There's no free throws. You get the ball. Now, if you call foul, say I'm shooting, I call a foul, but I make the shot doesn't count because I called foul. So now it doesn't matter like, oh, it's an and one. No, it's nothing. You called ball. Regardless if it goes in or not, you're not getting it. Now, obviously, there are a lot of people in prison, but the people that play ball is more of a small group than you would think. It might be maybe 100 people that come over to the basketball court on a daily basis to actually play ball. And almost all of them are decent. I mean, there's always going to be bums, but I mean, that's just how it goes. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you don't really knock somebody for not being the greatest because at least they're still coming out there and trying. Now, how often you actually get picked to play really depends on your skill level. Me, for example, I'm not the best basketball player, nowhere near the best basketball player. But the thing I have that a lot of people in prison didn't have is height. Most of the people I'm playing against are 5'8", 5'9". I'm 6'4" and can shoot. So that's very useful in a yard game because it's rough. You need somebody to be able to get the rebounds. So they would always have me play center because I was usually one of the tallest people on the court, which is kind of crazy at 6'4". You know, if you were playing in a league out here, you'd be like a 2 guard. But no, in prison, 6'4", 6'5", you're probably playing center. But I also didn't really care that I was playing the 5 because at the end of the day, I always got to run, number one. Number two, all they wanted me to do on defense was block people and grab rebounds. And on offense, I could still play the wing and shoot. So it really worked out for me because I was able to play and I'm useful on a quarter. Now, one of the first times I ever played basketball in prison, I saw how many crybaby ass calls people would make. People barely getting their hand touched, calling foul and shit like that. So right as soon as I saw that, I decided, okay, the only time I'm ever going to call a foul is if I get hit in my face. That's the only way that I'm calling a foul. Somebody goes for a block, hits me in my face, I'm calling foul. If you hit my hand when I'm shooting, I'm not calling it. I expect you to give me that call. Because what I do, so that I get that same mutual respect back as far as getting a call, is if I foul you, I always give it to you. You don't have to worry about your call because I'm always going to give it to you. And a lot of times people would also give that respect back. Like, okay, yeah, he did give me the ball on the foul, so I'm going to give it to him when I foul him. It just makes it a lot easier if you give the ball up when you foul somebody instead of complaining about when you get fouled. So that's how basketball would work for the first 2 yards of the day. So during the summer, you have 3 yards a day. You have morning, afternoon, and night yard. Nobody really plays 5-on-5 at night because there's not enough time to come in from yard at the end of the night, get in the shower, and then lock in. There's no time for showers. The last shower is at like 8:30, and we don't come in until 8:40 most of the nights. So you can't really get a shower. So nobody's really playing ball unless they're going to go in and bird bath, but you're not really getting clean if you do that. So a lot of times what people would do at night is they'll play one-on-ones or they'll play knockout or bye-bye birdie or something like that, horse and stuff like that. So they're not really sweating too much. Now, people ask me all the time, yo, were there fights all the time on the basketball court? And the honest answer is no, there really wasn't. Like, it would happen every once in a while, but most of the time when it happened, it didn't really have anything to do with the basketball game. Say I'm playing, for instance, me and this dude have a problem. You know, we've been butting heads for a couple weeks. You know, it's kind of tense. And his team's playing against mine, and now we're fouling each other, you know, a lot more hard than we would be normally because we have an issue with each other. And that's more than likely where the issue is going to stem. It's not really having anything to do with the basketball game, honestly. That being said, like, yeah, fights and stuff do happen, but at the end of the day, the most common shit is like what I just said, and when somebody doesn't get the call that they want and they hold the ball, they'll just hold the ball and be like, we're not playing anymore, and then people will get mad, and then they'll become an issue, you know what I mean? But it's not as serious as you guys think it is. A lot of times, it's just people playing ball and just trying to get a sweat in. Now, playing ball in the gym, on the other hand, is a completely different thing from anything I just described. Now, you have 2 leagues in the gym. You have a summer league and you have a winter league. Winter league is always the more serious one, the one that people really care about more because you can't play ball as much in the winter. There's snow, there's ice and stuff, your hands are cold. It's just not really possible to play ball all winter the way it is in the summer. So summer league is, yeah, people take it serious, but not nearly as serious as winter league. So around the end of October, early November, they'll put out a call for anybody that wants to play basketball. You have to write a request slip to the gym and ask them to put you on the list. You have 3 leagues for winter league basketball. You have A League, which is like the better players, B League, which are like the decent players but not fantastic, C League, which is 35 and older. You are able to play in C League and either A or B. So if you're 35 and older, you can play in C League automatically, and if you get drafted in one of the other leagues, you can play there as well. But you can't play in C League if you're younger than 35. They'll normally have about 8 teams in A League, around 8 to 12 teams in B League, and normally only like 4 to 6 teams in C League because there's not as many players. Now, obviously, each team needs a coach, so people will sign up specifically to be a coach. So my homie Fox used to coach. He would put his slip in, and then whenever the draft came around, he knew who he wanted to pick, and we would all go down to the gym for the draft. They pick numbers out of a hat for a random order for the draft, and it's every player for A and B League there, because whoever doesn't get picked in A League automatically is going to the B League. So now they used to draft with the players on the block. The coaches would just come down and they would do it all on paper. The problem with that was a lot of people didn't know whose names was who because everybody has a nickname in prison. So they'd see my name, Colin Ray, and they'd be like, dude, I don't even know who the fuck this is. But they see me sitting in the bleachers like, oh, that's Shaggy. Yeah, I want him on my team. So they just ended up bringing everybody down to, the gym for the draft every year. It's a normal snake draft, so you go 1 through 8 and then 8 to 1, and it just goes back and forth until your teams are full. There's like 12 people on each team. So when I first went upstate, when nobody really knew me and stuff, I would play B League because I wasn't that good. You know what I mean? It took a lot of time playing ball all the time for me to get to where I am now. And I'm nowhere as good as I used to be because I don't play ball like that anymore. That was the reason that I was good, is because that's all I had to do every day. You know what I mean? It was go play ball, go play ball. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm going to play ball every single day. When you do something, even if you're bad at something, when you do it every single day, you will get better at it. So after a few seasons of playing in B League, I got a little bit better. I started playing in A League, which is a lot more fun because there's a lot better competition, So now, like I said, playing in the yard is a lot different than how it goes playing in the gym. So playing in the gym, you play under the whistle with college rules. They have refs for every single game, like 3 refs a game. Most of them are all lifers. You wear jerseys, and there's a scoreboard, there's a shot clock, there's everything that would be in a normal college game. Now, because Winter League is during the winter, there's no night yard, like I said. So instead, what they'll do is they'll have basketball games at night. So the first game will be 6:30 to 7:30. The second game will be 7:30 to 8:30. But they'll also allow spectators. So after the games start, maybe like 5 minutes after they start, they'll call for spectators in the gym, and everybody can come down to the gym and watch the games, which is a lot of fun because, it's a more, normal basketball environment. Now, you play every team twice. So it ends up being like a 14 to 16 game like regular season. And then they have playoffs based off of your ranking where you finish during the season. So if you win every game, you're the 1 seed, you know what I mean? You play the worst team like you would in any regular basketball tournament. Once you get to the playoffs, like anywhere else, it's single elimination until you get to the championship, and then it's best 2 out of 3. Now, the year I came home was our best basketball season. We went 14-2, and it looked like we were going to win the championship. The problem was I made parole. Next leading scorer, my homie Aaron made parole, and my buddy Mir went to the hole. So suddenly you guys are down 3 of your top scorers. You know what I mean? And I would have kept playing, except the refs were my homies, and they wouldn't let me play because if you get hurt playing any sort of sport, if you get hurt, period, in prison, they won't release you. So if I were to go down and play basketball and break my ankle, I'd have to wait to be paroled until after my injury heals. So they stopped letting me play in the playoffs, like the second game, and the next game we got blown out by 40 points. So it was just kind of like, okay, like I understand, but like it sucked, you know what I mean? That would have been cool to like win a jail championship before I left. And I know at this point, a lot of you guys are probably like, damn, this shit don't even seem that bad. Like prison seems easy and shit like that. They give us leagues and shit like that to keep us occupied. The more you just sit around, the worse and worse you become. When you do stuff, when you stay active, when you take groups, when you play sports, it's better for your mind than just sitting around by yourself all day. You know what I mean? Nothing's going to get accomplished that way. So they give you a lot of things like that to try to make it feel as normal as possible to the outside, because at the end of the day, that's what they're supposed to be gearing you towards. It's not supposed to be about punishment. It's supposed to be about rehabilitation. So I'm pretty sure I touched on pretty much everything with prison basketball that I want to talk about. If you guys have any follow-up questions, just be sure to leave a comment. I'll try to address them as often as I can. I always try to interact with you guys just the same you interact with me. You know what I mean? I will never take y'all for granted because at the end of the day, I understand that I'm in this position doing social media because of y'all. Too many creators lose sight of that. They think it's just, oh, I'm the shit. Bro, you're just a dude. I'm just a dude. You know what I mean? I just tell stories and I talk on the internet. That's the only difference. And I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Like, you guys really do the most for me. And I hope you know that. And I hope you feel appreciated because I really do appreciate y'all. You guys have a great day.